Under the bright lights of AT&T Stadium, beneath the colossal jumbotron and the relentless glare of a football-obsessed nation, there is a story unfolding that goes beyond the usual Sunday theatrics. A saga soaked in pride, betrayal, revenge, and consequences that ripple through the very foundation of one of the NFL's most iconic franchises. This is not just another game on the schedule, not just another headline buried in the relentless churn of a football season. This is a reckoning. At the heart of it stands Micah Parsons, once the pride and heartbeat of the Dallas Cowboys defense, a generational talent forged in fire and destined for greatness, now reborn in enemy colors, preparing to return to the place he once called home, with a fury and purpose that transcends the simple act of chasing quarterbacks. The man who once embodied the Cowboys' future is now their most terrifying present. The story of how we got here is one drenched in arrogance, ego, and miscalculation, a textbook case of how hubris can dismantle a dynasty in the making. It began innocently enough, as these things often do. Parsons, drafted to be the cornerstone of Dallas's defense, delivered beyond expectations. He was electric, unstoppable, a predator whose instincts and athleticism rewrote what a modern linebacker could be. Quarterbacks dreaded seeing number 11 on the other side of the line. Offensive coordinators stayed up late designing schemes just to slow him down. Fans believed, analysts gushed, and Jerry Jones, the architect and emperor of this storied franchise, saw in Parsons not just a defensive star, but the face of the Cowboys' next era. And yet, for all the brilliance on the field, behind closed doors a slow, poisonous disconnect was forming. Parsons wanted to be a Cowboy for life. He said as much. He wanted the long-term extension, the commitment that matched his value. He was even willing to take less, to sign early, to anchor a defense that had been lost for years without a true identity. But Jerry Jones, ever the gambler, ever the businessman, who believes the star on the helmet is bigger than any player, chose hesitation over loyalty. Negotiations stalled. Promises turned into polite deferrals. Conversations that Parsons believed were agreements evaporated into corporate silence. And then, in a move that stunned not just the locker room but the league itself, Jones shut down all dialogue, refusing even to speak with Parsons' agent, and traded away the franchise's best player. 2 late first-round picks and Kenny Clark were all it took to end a relationship that once looked destined to define a decade. For Jones, it was business. For Parsons, it was betrayal. And now, as fate would have it, business and betrayal are about to collide on the field. The irony is as sharp as it is brutal. Dallas, once boasting a top-5 defense, now he is. Dak Prescott, paid more than Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, or Lamar Jackson, is left without his top target, forced to shoulder a burden no quarterback can carry alone. He's a $60 million man trapped in a crumbling system, tasked with saving a team that seems determined to sabotage itself. And on Sunday, he will face a defense engineered to destroy him, led by the very man his franchise pushed away. For Jerry Jones, this weekend is a mirror held uncomfortably close. He can talk about wishing Parsons well, except this weekend, but the numbers tell a story his words cannot mask. His team is a shell of what it once was. His defense is a liability. His dream of another Lombardi trophy looks further away than ever, and his legacy as a builder of dynasties will forever carry the stain of the decision that broke his team's backbone. For Parsons, this weekend is something else entirely. It's not about the stats, though there will be plenty. It's not about the headlines, though they will be loud. It's about closure, about proving beyond all doubt that the Cowboys needed him far more than he ever needed them. It's about showing that loyalty, once betrayed, can become the most dangerous weapon of all. It's about stepping onto that field and forcing the man who doubted his worth to watch as he dismantles what remains of his empire. And make no mistake, dismantle it he will, because Micah Parsons is not coming back to play a football game. He's coming back to send a message. He's coming back to remind the Cowboys and the entire NFL that some mistakes cannot be undone, that some decisions echo for years, that some players are simply irreplaceable. When the ball is kicked off and the cameras roll, the narrative will be simple. Green Bay versus Dallas, contender versus pretender, predator versus prey. But beneath that surface, the real story will unfold. A story of a man who gave everything to a franchise that gave him nothing in return, a story of pride and payback, a story of how arrogance can destroy even the mightiest of empires. And when Micah Parsons walks off that field, helmet in hand and scoreboard in his favor, he will not need to say a word. The wreckage of the Cowboys' defense will speak for him. The stunned silence of 80,000 fans will speak for him. And somewhere high above, in an owner's box lined with trophies from a bygone era, Jerry Jones will be forced to confront a truth he spent months denying. Letting Micah Parsons go was not just a mistake, it was a catastrophe. And the price of that catastrophe will be paid in sacks, turnovers, and humiliation under the lights of AT&T Stadium. In the end, this isn't just about a player returning to face his former team. It's about power, ego, legacy, and the fragile line between greatness and mediocrity. It's about how a single decision can alter the destiny of a franchise. It's about the dangerous assumption that no one is bigger than the star, and the painful reality that sometimes one man is. Micah Parsons was that man. The Cowboys let him go. And now the hunter returns. Not to forgive, not to forget, but to finish what they started. And when it's over, when the dust settles and the scoreboard glows with the evidence of Jerry Jones's hubris, the NFL will remember this weekend not just as a game, but as a reckoning. The day the Dallas Cowboys were forced to face the ghosts they created, and the day Micah Parsons proved that revenge, like defense, is best delivered with violent precision. And dismantle it he will. Make no mistake, Micah Parsons isn't coming back to simply play a football game. He's coming back to send a message, one that will echo far beyond 4 quarters and a final score. He's coming back to remind the Cowboys and the entire NFL of a truth that front offices too often forget. Some mistakes cannot be undone. Some decisions ripple through years and rosters and legacies. Some players, rare, transcendent, generational players, are not replaceable. And when you let one walk out your door, you don't just lose a talent, you lose your identity. When the ball is kicked off and the cameras roll, the story on the surface will look simple enough. Green Bay versus Dallas, contender versus pretender, predator versus prey. But peel back the scoreboard graphics and highlight reels, and another story will be unfolding. One far more compelling and far more damning. It's the story of a man who bled for a franchise that offered him none of the loyalty he gave. A man who turned their rejection into resolve. A man now determined to make them pay for every slight, every doubt, every whispered conversation that ended with, "We'll be fine without him." And when the final whistle blows, when Micah Parsons walks off that field with the scoreboard in his favor and the stadium in stunned silence, he won't need to say a word. The wreckage he leaves behind, the battered offensive line,